Imagine a man who could silence 80,000 screaming fans with a single glance. A man who stared down the most aggressive warriors in football history, Roy Keane, Oliver Kahn, Edgar Davids, and made them back away without saying a word. In a world of superstars, how did a man with a whistle and a piercing stare become more famous and more feared than the players themselves? Today we are not talking about those who score the goals. We are talking about the man who decided if they counted. Welcome to Sportx Radar. If you want to understand how one man became the ultimate symbol of justice in a corrupt era, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and let's step into the intense world of Pierluigi Collina. Born in Bologna in 1960, Collina's journey didn't begin with a dream of officiating. Like every Italian kid, he lived for the ball at his feet, playing as a tall, lanky central defender. He was the backbone of his local team, learning the tactical movements of the game from the rear. He understood the flow, the rhythm, and the mindset of a player because he was one. But fate intervened when he was just 17. A teammate suggested he take a refereeing course, more as a way to see the game from a different perspective than as a serious career move. But that little experiment changed everything. Within weeks, the instructors realized they weren't looking at a hobbyist, they were looking at a prodigy. Collina had an innate, almost supernatural understanding of the rules, and more importantly, the spirit of the game. But the defining moment of his life, the one that would forge his legendary image, came in the late 1980s. A severe bout of alopecia caused him to lose all his hair in a matter of days. This sudden, dramatic physical transformation gave him his famous alien appearance, a look so distinct and intimidating that it would become his trademark. Now, many people in that situation might have hidden away, their confidence shattered, not Collina. He embraced it. He understood the power of perception and transformed his unique look into a weapon of psychological authority. His bald head and intense, bug-eyed stare created an aura that suggested he wasn't just watching the game, he was haunting it. He was a presence that demanded respect before a single word was spoken. As his career skyrocketed in the 90s, Collina didn't just climb the ranks, he completely redefined what it meant to be a professional referee. He was the first to treat officiating like a high-level sport, demanding the same level of preparation and physical fitness as the elite athletes he oversaw. Long before the era of digital analysis and iPads in the dugout, he would spend days locked away, studying the teams he was about to officiate. He wasn't just memorizing formations, he was learning everything. He memorized the names of every single player, understood their tactical traps, their preferred moves, and he knew exactly which players were prone to a little bit of theatrical diving. He studied their personalities, their tempers, and their triggers. So by the time he stepped onto the pitch for the biggest games in history, like the unforgettable 1999 Champions League final between Manchester United and Bayern Munich, or the monumental 2002 World Cup final with Brazil and Germany, he was arguably more prepared than the coaches themselves. He didn't just enforce rules, he managed human emotions on a knife's edge. When superstars like David Beckham, Zinedine Zidane, or Ronaldo looked into those intense, unblinking blue eyes, they didn't just see a judge. They saw a man who was impossible to deceive, a mind that was always 2 steps ahead. He communicated with a glance, commanded with a gesture, and controlled the chaos with an almost silent authority. His presence alone was enough to prevent conflicts before they even started. Players knew there was no point arguing. He already knew the truth. But the true test of Collina's soul, the moment that cemented his legacy beyond the pitch, came during the darkest hour of Italian football, the Calciopoli scandal of 2006. This was a seismic event that shook the sport to its core. Investigators unraveled a massive, disgusting web of match-fixing and corruption involving some of the most powerful clubs in the country, including Juventus, AC Milan, and Lazio. As they listened to thousands of hours of intercepted phone calls between powerful club directors and refereeing officials, they were building a case that would bring down giants. In those tapes, one name stood out for a very different reason. While other officials were being swayed, influenced, or outright bought, the corrupt directors were recorded complaining about Collina. They griped that he was too objective, too rigid, and impossible to reach. Think about that. In an era where the giants of the league were actively trying to buy results and manipulate the outcome of games, Pierluigi Collina was the one wall they couldn't climb, the one man they couldn't corrupt. He chose integrity over friendship. He chose the truth over his own career, and he chose the good of the sport over personal gain. When immense pressure was applied to compromise his standards, he didn't just resist, he didn't even blink. He eventually walked away from Italian football with his head held high, proving that while players win games and trophies, true icons protect the sport's very soul. Collina's legacy isn't just about the incredible matches he called or the finals he commanded. It's about the untouchable standard of integrity he set. He remains the only referee in history to have graced the cover of a major video game, Pro Evolution Soccer 3, becoming a global brand based entirely on the concept of honesty. He was so popular, so trusted, that fans were excited to see him on the cover. He retired at the absolute top of his game because he refused to let the rules be bent, even for him, when the Federation tried to change age limits to keep him. He left the pitch as perhaps the most respected and revered man in the history of the sport, a man who proved that you don't need to score a single goal to be the most valuable player of a World Cup. Now, this brings me to a question for all the real football historians out there. In today's world of VAR, where every single decision is checked, rechecked, and analyzed by a machine, do you think a personality like Collina could still exist? Has technology killed the human authority that he embodied? Would you rather trust a computer with its lines and algorithms? Or would you trust those piercing blue eyes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If you found this story powerful, please hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to Sportx Radar for more deep dives into the legends who made football the greatest show on earth. Thanks for watching.